No. Oh God, my hair. I look like fucking Weekend.
You look like Mirio.
Okay, now I'm a tunnel snake. Hang on. Really?
Tunnel snakes rule.
That'll do. It looks worse than either of the other two, but it'll do. Alright.
Hello.
I'm leaving in that awkward pause of you forgetting
uh,
again.
it's easy to forget because so many times you start things and then I start something. Well, anyways, welcome back. We're looking at Death Parade episode 6 for Zero Interest right now, for those very few of you who watch this.
Well,
And
you fucking voted on it, so.
this was your choice.
Yeah. Oh well.
So, in this episode, we meet the funnest pair of characters. Yay! To enter Ginty's bar. Take it away.
Yeah, so the first character we meet is a Gyaru girl, schoolgirl with, like, the tan and the.
Amount of makeup just all over the place.
Yeah, a fair amount of makeup, but not like full Ganguro kind of thing. Just Gyaru is kind of just like in the middle of normal person and kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So she's excitable and loud, and the voice actress for the dub really nailed the obnoxious, loud teenage girl voice
Mm-hmm.
because she is constantly interrupting people and just shouting all of the time. It's kind of annoying, but also it really makes sense. So, credit where it's due. Like, it's a fine line to walk between being annoying but sensible and
Mm.
not going all the way into just straight up annoying and I just hate this character. So, good job. Um, she immediately thinks she's in a haunted house. Okay.
Yeah, she's not what we would call the intellectual sort.
Yeah, just kind of. Um, she's, I suppose, in a sense, she's quick thinking in that she will decide that something is one way and will believe it until it's disproven.
Yeah,
Um,
and there are people like that.
yeah. So she bounces around the place, shouting for ghosts to come out, and eventually finds her way into Ginty's bar because apparently every floor of this place is a bar. I'm probably joking. Um, and he's like, just shut up and sit down. Uh, and then is just basically says, yeah, you're gonna play a game with that guy, and yeah, and hit the button and do the roulette. And she turns around and sees the guy, and she's, oh my god, you're pop star from boy band that I like. Cross heart
Yes.
attack, which I like. They really did a bit of a setup into how that's the name of the band because it's the initials of the people that are in it and stuff. It it's there if you notice it. It's a nice little detail.
CHA.
Yeah,
CHA.
cha 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 cha.
Cha cha.
Yeah. So he's
It's
like,
like, oh,
hey,
it's Dorn fan.
and yeah, she goes full adoring fan and hi. He's very practiced with this. He knows just to smile and go along with it, and it's all good. Everything's fine. No problems here. You're not incredibly obnoxious. Um, and she's like, all right, I'll play a game. I get to play a game with Harada. That was his name. It's not important, but that was his name. So she slams the button, and they don't show us what it is. She's like, I've never heard of that, and neither is he. Like, I guess Twister is not a Japanese thing, very much.
I get like it is a game that it wasn't made in Japan. It was made in the was it made in the U.S.? I don't know, but it's something that's not very.
It's a Western game, and it involves a lot of touching a lot of the time. So I
which
imagine
is something that in Japanese culture that's not exactly something you would play often.
No, like that's an amount of intimacy that is intended for intimate relationships in their culture. You don't just fucking do that in just casual relationships. So Twister with friends is not a thing you would do in Japan.
It started in America.
Yeah, which makes sense. So Ginty kind of explains the rules. The spinner will do the thing, and it'll tell you what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the cat will hit the spinner. There's a cat.
Yay!
It's missing a tail. Almost.
Don't worry about that. This cat's a survivor.
Seems to be, yeah. Oh, also he has wooden doll things that he doesn't like people touching, but aren't really elaborated on in any way. So they start the game, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, we'll just play along and da 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 da. We're playing along and everything's fine." I think Harada gets a flashback of a lady friend that he was spending a lot of time with, named Lisa, and that he would just rather just go back to the hotel and see her, I think was the way he said it.
I want to go back and see her.
Yeah. And yeah, they keep playing, and Miyu, I want to say it was Miyu. I'm going to say it was Miyu. I don't care what her name was. It's not important.
Okay. It really isn't that important, but yeah.
She flashes him a lot, but doesn't seem to mind, which fair enough.
She is enjoying this entire experience, and he is getting worse and worse feeling about this.
Yeah. She's excited by the fact that she's showing off her racy underwear to him, which, yeah, I guess. I don't have a lot of insight into teenage girl mind, so maybe this is a thing.
She's a super fangirl, and she's meeting her idol, so...
Yeah, so this goes on for a little bit, and the positions get a little bit complicated, but Harada is a dancer, so he can contort in ways that most people can't. So he's very good at Twister.
Mm.
But also, the board for it is actually kind of huge compared to most Twister boards. Yeah. So it's not actually that hard. Until Ginty's like, all right, that's you know the rules, so let's actually get this going. Also, no, you can't take a break and go to the bathroom because there are consequences if you lose this game. I forgot to tell you that part. Potentially fatal ones. And to prove I'm not kidding, beep. And the twister pads, the colored pads, get little symbols on them. And the next one to be done is a red one, and it makes the board hot. As in burning hot.
Yeah. And they all have their own fun symbols, so whichever one you touch next will change how the board works, and this becomes more of an endurance match.
Yeah, kind of. But then it's like, okay, we're going to go through what each of these symbols does one by one in the order that we showed them. So, cool, I guess. First one's fire, then it's ice. And they get frozen to the board because they take too long.
Yeah.
And Harada has to break out of the ice and his clothes by just basically flexing. Which, dude is built. Good for him.
When you're on
good for
that
fan
pop
service.
pop star diet, getting all that workout so you can do all those dance moves
Yep.
nonstop.
It takes, you gotta be in shape to do that shit.
Mm.
It takes a lot of work. Unless you're a British boy band where you just basically sit in a chair for the entire concert.
It's like it's funny. It's like Japanese boy band constantly moving all over the place. British boy band sitting in a chair.
Fucking Westlife, I swear to God. Anyway. Yeah, you look up any Westlife concert, they're just fucking sitting in a chair. So he flexes out of being frozen and does basically a cartwheel, a standing cartwheel, and manages to hit the green symbol, which is wind, that blows them, basically, and flips her skirt entirely up, and yeah. Oh, and there are also poses of him basically with his head between the legs and vice versa. She was also into that both ways, so
The sexual tension is.
she's adventurous. I'll give her credit for that too.
Yeah.
Good for her. And then the next one happens, and it's the yellow question mark. And Ginty's like, all right, guess it's that time then. And the rest of the board falls out. All the circles are gone, except for the ones that they're standing on, so to speak. And it's just a giant pit now. Sudden death. First one to fall. Looks down, and there's a spike pit at the bottom. A long way down. So, sudden death, and this is where Harada is like, okay, I love my fans, but I kind of don't want to die, and I want to get back to whatever in Lisa.
Yeah. I could just push her right now.
Yep. And Mew is like, this has been the greatest day of my life, even though I've been put into a sudden death match. And now that I've done all of this with Harada and gotten to spend time with my idol and even play a game with him, and he got to sew my knickers, okay, I'm okay with dying for this. And tries to throw herself off and explains this to him before she does.
Yeah.
That when she was having a shitty day, she would put on music and it'd make her feel better. And she was so happy to be a fan of theirs and going to their gigs and things like that. And it makes Harada realize, oh shit, I was about to kill one of my fans. One of my fans that kept sending me letters and treating me amazingly because I'm a pop star. And he remembers how he had a bit of a reputation for being a player. And he dumped one of his fans. He'd been dating one of his fans and dumped her because he was bored of her, basically.
Yeah.
She took it badly, and he was like, what are you going to do? So she killed herself.
Yeah.
So I had a certain suspicion of where the judgment was going to go. We'll get to that. And then, because of that, he's like, oh, I can't believe I treated my fans this way. And he has a sudden revelation and tries to catch Mew when she falls off of the thing. And does a whole spiel of what I basically just said. And she slips out of his hand and falls. And has a flashback of how she died.
She slipped while walking out of the shower.
While walking into the shower. She was
Oh,
getting
yeah,
into the shower.
yeah.
Soap
She
was on the
slipped
floor.
It's like, really? What the heck?
Yeah. That's kind of sad, yeah. And he remembers how he died, which was Lisa left him. Which was good timing because he gets out of bed and finds a bomb left by the girl he dumped's sister.
Yep.
Yeah. Oops. So it turns out that the spikes were fake. It was inflatable,
They were bouncy.
which was pretty cool. I like that. I like the inflatable spikes. That's cute. Yeah. So everything's okay, and everyone's surprisingly okay with already being dead. And basically, the girl pissed herself because she needed to go to the bathroom for a while. So she gets to change clothes into a yukata. And
washes off all her makeup.
yeah, and Harada is suddenly interested in her. Cool.
That's a trope with the Gyaro girl thing where they wash off the makeup, but actually they're actually kind of pretty. It's something that happens all over the place.
So, yeah, and then the thing's basically over. The Harada picks up one of the dolls, and nothing comes of it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
The credits roll, and then we get Harada putting on a show for Ginty and what's her name, Miu, and the attendant and Dekim for some reason.
They got invited. They're neighbors technically, I guess, sort of.
So this is actually a little bit of a problem. I know it's supposed to be a fun whatever scene. It's not really. Maybe this is amusing in Japan. Yeah, it just didn't land for me. But wasn't Ginty established to just be fucking do the job and then get him out? That was his thing, established in the previous episode that was entirely pointless. So now he's just letting people hang out too?
It's meant as a gag more than anything else. And as a result of that, it doesn't quite fit in. I thought the scene was just kind of a fun little thing, a fun little post-credit scene that's kind of inconsequential. But, yeah.
I, along with a few people that had commented on the episode on Funimation, yeah, I would have rather seen the Judgment, to be honest. Seeing how that thing played out. She probably would have gone up. He is a bit more of a question mark.
There is, this is one thing I really dislike about this episode, is that judgment is not made clear, but then later on it's treated as if the judgment already happened and we don't know what it is. But we do know it, we get told what it is in a weird roundabout way. So Harada goes to the void. He goes to hell.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She ends up sticking around for another episode or two.
I was wondering why she was in the opening. Yeah.
And her story will come to an end by the time this show ends. She's not going to stick around forever. But
that just brings me back to the point about Ginty letting people hang around, though.
I don't know. At this point, I'm just like, I feel like the author liked this character.
I really want to like the show. I'm going to be honest. I really want to like it, but it's making it so very hard to do so.
It's a case where this was the episode where I dropped the show originally.
Mm.
And you can probably I thought it was kind of hilarious. A lot of the stuff that happened in this episode, you can kind of see why I might have dropped this.
Mm.
I like the back half of this show, but this show does have a lot of problems. It has a weird... It loves to go against its own tone for the sake of comedy. And that's something you notice in the opening.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so tonally dissonant. And while that can be funny, I don't think it's right in this type of show and done well.
Yeah. Yeah. It just brings me back to my comments on the opening on, I think it was the second episode we did this, where, yeah, it's tonally dissonant for the sake of being tonally dissonant. It's not especially saying anything. The jokes aren't especially jokes, frankly. So it just kind of doesn't fit. Square peg in a round hole kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like
the entire...
I think Japan kind of has a problem with black comedy sometimes. Like, if there's a type of comedy you're going to go with for this premise, it's black comedy. And they're just not, and going for kind of more staple anime style comedy, and it's just not landing.
Yeah, which is kind of something that would be more attractive to mainstream audiences as opposed to the more niche things. And to an extent, the concept itself is tonally dissonant on its, just from an outsider's view of, they play games, fun games, to judge their souls. But that gets darker because you find out those games have stakes to them that, well, they are not real to us, they're real to the people who are playing them. But the idea of there being, it looks fun on the outset, but then there's something darker when you look closer, it's not consistent.
It's a little like Saw. And frankly, maybe if they played it a little bit more like Saw, and then the first half of the episode is kind of dark and, this not a good situation, and then the second half they just kind of, yeah, okay, this was actually fake. You're already dead, but it was a fun time, right? Kind of thing, and maybe halfway between Saw and Beetlejuice, kind of thing. That maybe that might have landed better. I don't know. Hindsight's 20/20, but
there are some episodes of this that are really good. There are some that are really not.
Yeah.
And so, to an extent, that's something you could potentially expect from something that's like an anthology.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the problems we have usually aren't with the stories themselves, it's with the things outside the stories.
The bowling thing was a little limp, but other than that, yeah, they're actually quite good.
So,
the arcade thing was really, really good. That was a great episode.
I love the arcade one.
This means okay, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, just to be clear. Fucking Christ.
So, we'll see you guys next time with episode 7 of Death Parade. I don't remember what, actually, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't remember what it's called. But I do know that it will be interesting. And we will have thoughts. And we will say those thoughts in a video.
It's generally how this works. But you say that like it's going to be significant in some way, so I'll take your word for it.
That is my joke. It is not a funny joke. It is barely even a joke.
Sounds familiar. So,
all right. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys next time Bye.